Welcome to the Sports Quarter. I'm JB and this is my co-host Q. This is a show produced by the Advanced Sports Broadcasting class and it's recorded right here at the University of Central Missouri.
It's called the Sports Quarter because we'll be bringing you 4 20-minute episodes over the next couple of months that will cover sports at all levels.
Every episode is going to look different. From the last and in the first episode, our show will take the form of a debate and will begin with the world of football.
The Alliance of American Football, or the AAF, began play in their first season earlier this month. Most people are still not aware of this league, but there is more coming around to it. So JB, what are the values of having this league around?
Well, I think there's a lot of value to it, especially to fans that want to keep watching football when the NFL is gone. This has been something that's happened in the past. You can look at the XFL in the 2000s, the USFL in the 80s. Now, the XFL was, for the most part, a failure, but the USFL was actually a major success. They even got players like Jim Kelly, Reggie White, and Steve Young to play there, and those are Hall of Fame players that all played in that league. And I think that the AAF, if it continues on the trajectory that it is right now, especially with its opening week, it tied the NBA in ratings. That's very impressive. So I think that it has a bright future ahead of it if it can keep this up.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. Basically, I kind of feel the same way. I feel that it can help players that have once fell out of the league and kind of redeem themselves. So this league is also kind of beneficial for players that were formerly in the NFL. And players like Trent Richardson or Chris Hattenberg or Zach Stacy, former NFL players that were once like starters in the NFL. They played in the NFL at some point. Even coaches, Mike Martz, Steve Spurrier, Mike Singletary, players and coaches like this, it kind of gives them a redemption feel. And I feel like this league is going to have a great future ahead of it. It offers a lot of benefits for the players as well. That's one thing about it too. I think that that's one thing that can kind of help produce league-wise, that you have benefits for players that can kind of boost them up and actually kind of give them potential, like they actually have a chance to reach the NFL.
Yeah, and the league's ran by Bill Polian, who was the GM for the Colts back in the Peyton Manning era, and obviously he built a great team there, winning a Super Bowl and going to another one against the Saints. So let's see how the league does that he's built too. I mean, he knows football. I think that they have a lot of good minds, like you said, with Steve Spurrier, Mike Singletary, Mike Martz, all have had success coaching at different levels. I think that this league has a bright future.
I guess it also kind of helps players want to receive scholarships. That's kind of something I read upon online. It kind of helps players receive scholarships that complete a full year, as far as a full reimbursement if they're attending school or vacational type of schooling or something like that. It helps them further going into a education type of thing too. So I guess that's something that we can also see beneficial for this league as well.
And like you were saying with that, the league is definitely benefiting the players and the coaches. And I think that we've already seen some breakout players that have made crazy plays. And just overall, the game seems to be very entertaining too. It doesn't seem like it's a huge drop off from the NFL in terms of at least the competition aspect of it.
And I guess going off of that, it being entertaining, it's more quick. So one thing that they don't have is kickoffs. Kickoffs are onside kicks. So that makes the game go way more quicker because we don't have to slow down for a kickoff or we don't have to slow down for an onside kick or anything, which I know that's not a big component of the game, but it kind of just, it helps the game go by faster. And I just feel that this league has high potentials as to be a next potential, say G League of the NBA, type for the NFL. It can help players that are not noticed or not well seen by those scouts that, I have potential to actually last in a professional league. Maybe you should give me a try or maybe give me a 10-day contract.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I think this league has already gotten off to a fast start. I think that a lot of the teams have already started to get actual fan bases. I hear from people all the time that say that they have actual teams for the AAF. That seems like a good place to pause for a quick commercial. Stay tuned after the break. We've got more sports to discuss. Welcome back to this first episode of the Sports Quarter. We're shifting gears and diving into some baseball. Major League Baseball spring training is in full swing, pun intended. Who comes out on top in key divisions like the NL Central, AL East, and AL West, Q?
Well, I got to go with my Cardinals, man. I'm sorry. I got to go with my hometown, the Cardinals. I want to see them actually win a pennant this year.
I'd have to agree with you, actually. I think that the addition of Paul Goldschmidt gives the Cardinals some much-needed defensive help at first base, and I think just another bat to add to that lineup that's just going to make it pop.
And I also think the Yankees are going to make a kind of big move this year, kind of with Stanton being more like comfortable with the team, and Aaron Judge being back healthier, and them having a better rotation. Also, this being CC Sabathia's last season, they have to kind of go out in style. I want to see them go out in style.
I see the Yankees having a successful year, but in that division, man, the Rays and the Sox are both insanely good, and I think that the Sox are going to end up taking that division. I see the Yankees as a wild card, Rays possibly making it too, but I just think that the Red Sox have too much talent on that roster and too many bats for the Yankees to keep up.
So do you think? What do you think about this Bryce Harper talk that's going around? What do you kind of feel about that?
Personally, I don't know where he's going to go. I think the only person, I don't think anybody knows, even Bryce Harper, but I think the most likely situation for him is probably going to end up being the Phillies. What about you?
Well, I would like to see him go to my hometown team, the Cardinals, but I kind of do agree with the Phillies as well. There's also been talks with him going to the Yankees as well. But the Phillies looking like kind of like the head runner for as a team to potentially pick him up. The Yankees were looking as far as like a short-term type attention of picking him up and probably picking him for like a short little time and seeing where it can kind of further on for his career. But he's 31, so I mean, you know, with a player with his caliber, you know, any team that kind of picks him up, I feel like they're kind of going to be like an actual World Series contender.
And once Bryce Harper signs, I mean, I think that's going to change a lot of our opinions on what teams are going to be doing this season because no matter where he goes, I think that team is automatically going to end up being a much better team and will probably end up being a winning team too because I don't think he's going to go to a bad team either. Like, I think he will want to go to a team that's winning and is going to pay him. And I think you're going to see big things from Bryce Harper this season.
I don't know. Do you see like the Nationals kind of like actually maybe re-signing him? I mean,
I don't think that he's going to get re-signed to the Nationals. I don't know. I just think he wants to move on, and I think that they want to move on too. To be honest, like I just don't see it happening. Obviously, he's a huge talent, and I think the Nationals want that talent on their team, but I just don't know if they can afford him.
So if you had a choice as far as like a early World Series like contender or like even winner, who do you feel would be the winner? Like who do you choose?
Again, like I said, where Bryce Harper signs is a huge part of that. But I would say, honestly, out of the American League, I'm picking the Astros to make another run. And for the National League, I mean, the Dodgers have gone 2 years in a row. I don't see that happening again. I think it's really up in the air on that side.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on the same thing as far as like it's just really up in the air for the National League. I mean, honestly, there's plenty of contenders that can actually reach that potential of being the World Series contenders. But I do agree with the Houston Astros. I feel like they can be a potential runner for the American League. And I don't know. Let's kind of see where this baseball season kind of goes. I mean, you know,
it's going to be a good one. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think about the Manny Machado signing?
I think he's gonna go to the Yankees. I think that he's gonna actually be like I think he actually will help the Yankees as far as in his 10-day contract, and I feel like that's just gonna kind of be something that's big for him moving on and helping their team kind of be a more potential runner for the World Series.
We're gonna stop there and step aside for a quick commercial break. Stay with us. It's all NBA in the next quarter.
Got a quarter?
We're into the third quarter of the show, and the focus is now on the NBA. More specifically, a proposal that has been sent to the Players Union to lower the drafting age from 19 to 18. which would allow for drafting players out of high school by the 2022 draft. Do you agree or disagree with the current and proposed NBA draft rules, Q?
I totally disagree. I do not see this being something that can be like a actual. I don't see this being like a potential rule that can actually be set in stone for the rest of the NBA going on then and forth. Reason why I kind of would say that is because players like LaMelo Ball, Jello Ball, Trayvon Duval, players like that, they had high potentials in high school. Or they were looked at as high potential prospects. And looking at them now, they're not really anywhere that's furthering their career. Trayvon Duval, he's a G League player for the Bucks, but he's not playing for their actual team, and he's had a 2-day contract, but it's not helping him. And LaMelo Ball, he's played professional ball after dropping out of high school. I feel like it kind of makes their attitudes and their confidences a little high and a little bit arrogant, and it doesn't help them further their career as to being more professional and being settled down, and like you're actually going to be into a professional setting. So you have to act professional and kind of hold yourself accountable for anything that happens.
Personally, I'm in favor of it. I think that this is going to have a huge impact on not only the NBA, but college basketball. And I think that that's mainly where I'm in favor of it, is the impact that's going to have on college basketball. The one and done rule has been a failure. Like, I think everybody agrees that that's not a good idea. And I think that they either need to add a year for college players, or they just need to scrap the one and done rule completely and let them come out of high school. Because, I mean, you look at players like Zion, for example. Zion's a freak of nature talent that shouldn't have to be in college right now, to be honest. Like, he could play in the NBA right now. And you look at him he just had a minor injury, but that could have been a potentially major injury that could have affected his draft stock. And I think that when you think about it like that, you're messing with players' futures sometimes when they get hurt in college and then they can't do anything in the NBA.
Okay, that's where I will agree with you as far as, like, I guess we're going on that turning point. I feel like they should add. I don't think that they should eliminate them even going to college, because them going to college can actually kind of help them further and pursue somewhere else besides the NBA. What if the NBA doesn't work for you? There's been times where there have been players that had done the one and done rule, and they've lasted 1 year in the NBA. And now they're out of the NBA already after one season. And it's, I guess, kind of making a comparison as far as, okay, Steph Curry. He lasted in college for 3 years, till his junior year at Davidson. Then, he went on to the NBA. He was looked at as not a high potential prospect because of his small body size, but he was more prepared and mentally developed his mind from actually coming from college, being in a college asset, learning from a coach's mindset that, you can actually move on. And he has 2 MVPs, and he's a 3-time NBA Finals, champion. And Monte Ellis, his former teammate, drafted out of high school, doesn't have anything under his name. So,
Yeah, and I think you're exactly right. For every LeBron James, there is a Monte Ellis. Same with, but there's also been other examples of high school stars. I think the thing is, you just have to look at it as an individual basis, because there are players like I said, Zion, Kobe came right out of high school, LeBron came right out of high school, that were obviously prepared, but it's few and far between, and I think you're right about that.
I guess like that type of, like what you're saying, it's more like of either skills or athleticism. Right this day and age, it's athleticism. You have to have athleticism. If you don't, coming out of high school, you won't be seen as a player getting drafted into the NBA. But skills-wise, it's kind of different. But that's all the time that we have left in this segment. In the final quarter of our show, we're going to go back to the NFL and then over some bloopers. Stay tuned.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education?
What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job?
Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher.
You got the skills, the smarts.
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess?
What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Welcome back to the Sports Quarter. Let's get back to the NFL and the latest news that the Cleveland Browns picked up Kareem Hunt. Last February, Hunt shoved and kicked a woman at a hotel. The video surfaced months later, and then the Kansas City Chiefs cut ties. Now he's been given a second chance with a new team. What are your thoughts on the professional athlete and second chances after a major incident?
Well, obviously what Kareem Hunt did was wrong. There's no defending what he did, but to say that what he has done is worse than what other players in the league have done in the past, or what players have been giving second chances for, like you can look at Greg Hardy. Greg Hardy was obviously villainized by a lot of fans, as he should have been, but he was given a second chance. And I think that what Greg Hardy did was a lot worse than what something like Kareem Hunt did. A lot of people have been comparing Kareem Hunt's situation to the Ray Rice situation, and I don't think that's fair at all either. I think you can just watch both of those videos and realize that what Ray Rice did was leaps and bounds worse than what Kareem Hunt did. But I do think that Kareem Hunt did deserve to be punished, and I think that he served his punishment. I think that he's learned his lesson, hopefully, and give him a second chance, and if he ruins it, maybe not give him a third one.
I guess I do agree with you on that as well. Even players that haven't had, or that have had big incidences that happen, Floyd Mayweather, I'm going to jump into another sport, Floyd Mayweather, he's had an incident where he had a boxing match with a person that has been beating their wife. And literally a month later after that match, he went and beat his own wife. So it's like, there's been bigger incidences that have happened versus this one incident versus, a player maybe who was probably self-defending himself, in which we don't know the whole full situation behind that video. We just know what we're shown, what we're seeing. And there's been bigger cases as far as like Mike Vick with the dog fighting. That's something that's very serious in this day and age, and he's been given a second chance. He got to redeem himself and to show himself that he's a better person than what he is. So I feel like this can be a potential changer for Kareem Hunt going on further into the Cleveland Browns and into their organization as they're kind of working on themselves as a team.
Now on to a new segment that we'll have on the show in each episode, UCM Sports Bloopers. Take a look.
In warm-ups, you never know what's going to happen. Let's take a look at that again. Incoming!
Sometimes going for a block can take a very wrong turn. Man, look at these expert wheelbarrow skills right here.
Usually coaches are telling you to use your hands to play defense, but you can also use your feet. And they're still looking for that ball 2 weeks later.
Sometimes cheerleaders can be too focused on the crowd and forget what they're doing. Flips are easy, but man, sometimes walking off the court will get you.
You just never know what will happen at a UCM event. We'll conclude the show by sharing our picks for some of the biggest games happening this week. Our crew will also be a part of this. In each of the weeks, we'll show you from how everyone is stacking up against each other. The first game featuring the Celtics against the Raptors. Who do you have?
I'm going to have to go with the Celtics on this one. I think that they get the big upset against the Raptors.
I'm going to have to go with the Raptors. I don't know, like the Raptors are just kind of the dominant team in this game.
Yep, I don't think that you're wrong on that at all. The Raptors have been dominant, but the Celtics, I just have a feeling that they're going to go into Toronto and Kyrie's going to have a big game. All right, over to college basketball. Duke versus Virginia Tech. Who comes out on top there?
This is a no-brainer, Duke.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely. This is a no-brainer.
I have to agree with that. Coach K's not dropping this game.
Even without Zion, this is a no-brainer.
Yeah, that team is too talented even without Zion to lose this game.
Lastly, a top 10 matchup between Kentucky and Tennessee. Who wins?
I'm going to go with Tennessee in this one. Both teams have had a great season, don't get me wrong, and I think they're very evenly matched teams. I just have to give a slight edge to Tennessee. I think that they're a better team.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you on that. I feel like they're going to be able to redeem themselves after the first game they had against them, and I feel like this is going to be a redemption game. They're going to be coming back looking for revenge.
All right, that's it for the first episode of the Sports Quarter. The next episode will feature an entirely different show format that will be fun to watch. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.